One of the shocking moments in the start of your career is when all of a sudden you become the business owner. That wasn't what I was expecting, and now all of a sudden you have to make all of those decisions around what you're going to be doing to raise great capital or to do a capital call and to be in a position of what you do to get the profit drivers right. Now, capital is a really important foundational conversation inside of any business. If you want to go into a new office, if you want to do a refit, if you all of a sudden you want to change the brand, or you want to do anything like buying out a competitor, you're going to need to make sure that you've got enough capital in order to be able to go and do that. And that's about making sure that as a business owner that you drive the business for profit. You tuck some away for a rainy day, but also too, you're making sure that when you're adding shareholders, you've got people that have got the ability to be able to inject cash into the business to allow it to grow. Now, this stuff is so important inside of any business because what we see a lot of people do is they drain the business of any profit that it's got. They give out some record share dividends. The problem is the business has got no money for a rainy day. And when it comes to reinvesting into the brand and reinvesting into the people, they're left short. So the secret is to really understand what really drives the profit inside of any business. And this is where margin is a massive part of what you do. Now, if you think about it, a real estate agent is going to come and negotiate on what percentage of the fee split that they actually get. But the second conversation on that is then saying, well, hang on a second, if you're going to get that, then what's the minimum fee that you're going to charge in the lounge room? And the problem is that the industry has not really looked at those two numbers actually having a relationship. So yeah, sure, you can maintain a 50% fee split as long as you charge X in the lounge room on at least 80% of your transactions. And the reason why I like that is that that allows for a few variations, allows you to be commercial. It allows a better quality conversation if you're listing for family members or maybe, something unique like selling your own house. But the reality of it is that on 80%, you've got to learn how to get to be the best in that marketplace in the way you've got to present that fee. Outside of that, it's also too about making sure that you keep your costs low, but this is also too about recouping money where you should be, from vendor paid marketing to the conversations around what you're doing with styling, but also to ensuring that agents are good enough to go back and resell the marketing if they need to, if it's not fully covered by their existing agency agreement. And it's a really important foundational piece that it's the smallest things that actually bring businesses undone. You see, the secret is that whenever you go and have a look at a business, you're going to come up with something we've got to call a break-even point. And that's where ultimately your total amount of revenue is equal to your total amount of expenses. But what I'm going to suggest to you is I want you to increase your expense mechanism by circa 20% so that you've got a guaranteed profit already built into your business before people believe that you're actually making money. And why that's an important foundational conversation. If I go and put $1,000 in the bank, I can circa get a 5% return. If I can go to an ETF, I can get a 10%, even up to a 15% return. So why wouldn't I want a minimum of a 20% return inside of my business? And that's where you've got to start to think about what you're doing to change the mix of revenue from not only the one-off revenue that you're getting as a salesperson, but instead to the recurring revenue that's actually coming from your property management business. And as your business grows, you're going to have different goals and different objectives. The first goal and objective, get that recurring revenue to be able to meet your recurring expenses. The second goal is then to get that recurring revenue to then exceed those recurring expenses. So then you can go to have a recurring profit so that anything you make from sales is absolutely cream. But if you then make a capital call and you then go and buy an extra 1,000 properties under management, your next goal over the course of the next 5 years is to actually pay down that debt and to actually not pay out huge dividends, but to ultimately grow the balance sheet of the business. So then there can be some super years in profit ahead. And that's always the conversation against all of your directors around what you're going to be doing around a capital call, how you're going to be allocating that capital, and then what you do to drive the profit of the overall business so you can still have a dividend and at the same time grow an incredible business.